What's Happened to Michael by Enid Blyton. I've got 4 shillings and threepence saved up for Christmas presents already, said Jane, counting out sixpences and pennies from her money box. I've got 3 shillings exactly, said Peter. I had to give a shilling in at school for Mrs. Brown's wedding present. How much have you got, Michael? Not much, said Michael, and he shook his money box out on the table. A penny and a threepenny bit rolled out. 4 pence. But I just can't bother to save. I think you're mean, said Jane. You never save up to buy people birthday presents or Christmas presents. You just give them old toys of yours. You spend all your money on yourself, and you don't try to earn any to save up, as we do. He's lazy, said Peter. He won't put himself out for anyone. Will you, Michael? You'll let us spend our saved-up money to buy you a Christmas present, but you wouldn't dream of doing the same for us. Oh, be quiet, said Michael. We can't all be the same. I don't want to bother to earn money, and I don't want to bother to save. You like it, and I don't. He went out of the playroom and banged the door. He really is mean, said Jane. He never even bought Mummy a birthday present for her last birthday. He just went and picked some flowers out of the garden for her. Well, I don't expect he'll ever be different, said Peter. He just doesn't care. There's one good thing about him, though, said Jane. He never borrows from us, not like Eileen at school, who's always borrowing something or other. And he'd never dream of taking any money that belonged to anyone else, said Peter. Like that horrid little Norman at school. He took Harry's bus money, you know, out of his desk. John saw him and made him put it back. Yes, thank goodness Michael isn't a borrower or a stealer, said Jane. He's just careless and rather mean. He hardly ever gives anyone a present. Michael was out in the garden looking for a ball he had lost. He thought of Jane and Peter and the money in their money boxes. He scowled to himself. All this fuss about saving up money to spend on other people. Birthdays and Christmases were a nuisance. There were quite enough things to buy without having to go and spend money on presents. I've got 4 pence, and as far as I can see, that's about all I shall have to spend at Christmas time on Mummy and Daddy and Jane and Peter, thought Michael, hunting under the bushes for his ball. A penny for each of them. I'll get them a card each. Next day, Mummy came into the playroom where the 3 children were reading. Will one of you go down to the village for me and fetch me some buns for tea? She said. I meant to make some and I haven't had time. I'll go, said Michael. I've got to fetch my bike. It's at Fred's. I lent it to him. Very well, said his mother. Here is a shilling, Michael. Choose 6 nice buns. They will be 2pence each. And will you go to the milk shop next door to the baker's and pay the bill for me? Here it is, exactly 10 shillings. I'll give you a 10-shilling note for it. Put the shilling and the note carefully into your purse. Bring back the bill with you and see that the girl receipts it, so that I know it's paid. Right, Mummy, said Michael, and took the shilling and the 10-shilling note. He felt in his pocket for his purse, but it wasn't there. Bother, where was it? Well, he would put the money in his pocket just as it was. He wouldn't have it there long. He put on his hat and coat and went out, whistling. It was snowing hard, and he was pleased. He liked going out in the snow. Big snowflakes fell down all round him. He looked up into the heavy sky. Thousands of flakes were falling silently down and down and down. They gave him a pleasant but rather strange feeling. He shuffled through the snow to his front gate. Then out into the road he went. He fetched his bike from Fred's first, but he couldn't ride it because already the snow was thick. He wheeled it to the baker's and stood looking into the shop. What buns should he buy? There were 3 different kinds. He would get 2 of each. In he went, and the girl put 6 buns into a paper bag. He gave her the shilling and went out to his bike. Now, what else did Mummy say he was to do? Ah, yes, to pay the milk bill. He felt in his pocket for the bill and pulled it out. It was 10 shillings. He would give in the 10-shilling note, watch the girl write, received with thanks across the bill, and go home. Tomorrow he would make Jane and Peter come into the garden and build a snowman. He went into the milk shop. He felt in his pocket for the 10-shilling note. It wasn't there. He scrabbled hurriedly in all his pockets, one after another, but he couldn't find that note. He went out of the shop before the girl came to serve him. He was very upset. What had happened to that 10 shillings? It was a lot of money. He felt in all his pockets again, very, very carefully, but quite certainly the 10-shilling note wasn't there. Michael emptied out his pockets, laying everything on the top of the snow-covered wall nearby. String, 2 toffees, a small ball, a pencil, a rubber, a big marble, but no 10-shilling note. "Oh, I've dropped it somewhere," thought Michael, and he went back to the baker's. No, he hadn't dropped it there. The shop was empty, and there was nothing on the floor. There was nothing in the snow outside either. "The snow must have covered it," said Michael. "I dropped it somewhere, and the snow hid it. Oh, blow, bother, blow! Oh, the whole 10-shilling note. Mummy will be awfully upset. I know she's saving up for Christmas too, for crackers and balloons and things." He wheeled his bicycle home, feeling very miserable. Mummy had told him to put the note in his purse. It was so easy to lose loose money. What would he say to her? If he told Daddy, Michael would get a whipping. Daddy didn't like carelessness with other people's money. Oh, I can't even give Mummy anything out of my money box to make up for losing the 10 shillings, thought Michael. I've only got 4p. He wheeled his bicycle up the hill to his house, thinking hard. Suppose I try and earn some money. Perhaps I might even get 10 shillings if I tried. Then I could go and pay the milk bill, and nobody would know I'd lost Mummy's money. The milk shop won't send the bill in again for another week. So, I've got a week. I could try anyway. It would be difficult, I expect, to earn such a lot of money. He put his bicycle away and went indoors. He was met by his mother, who held out her hand for the buns. "Put my milk bill receipt in my desk, Michael," she said. "Oh, what nice buns! Tea will be ready in 5 minutes. Tell the others, dear." Michael went to tell Jane and Peter. They were still counting their money and making out Christmas lists for presents. "I haven't got enough money yet," said Jane. "I must somehow earn 2 shillings more." "I must get a bit more too," said Peter. "Hello, Michael. You've been ages." Michael looked at the little piles of money and wished he had as much. "How are you going to earn any more?" he asked. "Well, I know what I shall do," said Peter. "I shall dig away the snow from people's front paths. They always pay for that." "And I shall go and ask Mrs. Johns if she wants me to take her 2 little children for a walk in the afternoons," said Jane. "And I could ask Auntie Nora if she wants any errands running. She knows I'm saving up for Christmas, and she pays me a penny a time. I've told her I'll always do her errands for nothing if I'm not saving up." Michael made up his mind to go and ask Granny if she wanted any errands running, and he would take his spade and broom and do a little snow moving too. And what about cleaning Uncle Richard's car? Uncle Richard had once said jokingly that he would give the children 1/2 a crown if any of them would like to clean his car, but it was such a big job that no one had taken it on. Nobody could make out what had happened to Michael the next few days. He shoveled snow away from this house and that house. He ran all Granny's errands quickly and well. He appeared at Uncle Richard's house and asked if he could clean the car. 1/2 a crown to you if you do it well," said Uncle Richard, pleased to see that it was Michael who had offered to do it. He had always thought that Michael was the lazy one of the 3. Mummy was astonished to hear what Michael was doing. Granny praised him and said how good and quick he was. Uncle Richard said he had never had his car cleaned so well, and he gave Michael 3 shillings instead of half a crown. Mrs. Brown and Miss Toms told Mummy how well Michael had shovelled the snow from their front doors. "What's happened to Michael?" she said in wonder. The other 2 children said the same, 2 or 3 times a day. "What's happened to Michael? He must be saving up for Christmas after all. He's earning a lot of money. We'll get presents from him if we're lucky." Michael didn't say he was saving up for Christmas, because he wasn't. He was trying to earn money to pay for the milk bill, to make up for the 10 shillings he had lost. He emptied his money box one night and counted out what he had got. Half a crown, 2 separate shillings, 5 sixpences, 3 threepenny bits, counting the one I had before, a 2-shilling bit, and 7 pennies, counting in the one I had before. Now let's add them all up. Have you added them up? You have? Well then, you know what they come to. 10 shillings and 4 pence. What a lot of money. Now I can pay that milk bill," said Michael, pleased. And just at that very minute, in came his mother. She held something in her hand. "Look, Michael," she said, "I was sending your old suit to the cleaners, and I went through the pockets. There was a hole in one pocket, and this had slipped through it and was down in the lining, a 10-shilling note. Where did you get it?" Michael stood and stared at the note. Good gracious! So he hadn't lost it after all. It had slipped down into the lining. There it was. "Oh, Mummy," he said, "I'll tell you what happened. I should have told you before, I know. You gave me that note to pay the milk bill, and I thought I'd lost it. I didn't know it had slipped down into the lining, so I couldn't pay the bill, and I've been hard at work earning money all this week to pay the milk bill myself. And now look at what I've earned. I've got 10 shillings and 4 pence in my money box." "Oh, Michael," said his mother, astonished, "you should have told me at once, and I would have looked in the lining and found the note. But as it is, you've now got this note to pay the bill, and all that money besides." "To spend on Christmas presents," said Michael. "Yes, that's what I shall do. I've saved up like the others, and I'll make a fine Christmas list." Well, he did. He put down all the names of the people he wanted to give presents to, and beside the names he put the things he meant to buy. What a fine day of shopping he would have, and how pleased everyone would be with their presents. They were, of course, and it was very nice for Michael to hear their thanks. It was the happiest Christmas he had ever had. But wasn't it funny that a lost 10-shilling note should cause all that?